Greetings, everybody! FailureToReport here. And, let's go ahead and talk Squadron 42. The big reveal that everybody was waiting for. It's it's been a year in the making for them to show a vertical slice of Squadron 42. And, it was further delayed from CitizenCon to the holiday stream, and then delayed in additional 24 hours because I'm sure Chris went to watch the pre-recorded stream. Do you even call it a holiday stream? The holiday video. And I'm sure somebody's going to point out, they're going to say, oh, well, they said it wasn't going to be pre-recorded. Well, actually, literally just last month, they said holiday live stream. So it was their wording, not ours. So before anybody gets really triggered there, and they get super defensive in CIG's defense, just know we didn't come up with the whole live stream thing. That was totally on them. All right. So we're not putting words in their mouth. They use the terminology. I'm just rolling with it. But anyways, I'm sure Chris watched the video that they were prepared to stream today and wanted to recut some of it because I can only imagine what a live play of today's demo would have been like. Man, I'm sure it would have been absolutely beautiful. Oh, man. Where to even begin with this whole thing? I guess after seeing the little sneak peek that they gave us with the teaser trailer, we kind of had an idea what to expect. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. Aside from some really poor lighting issues in the teaser trailer and them making Mark Hamill look kind of retarded, I was actually surprised with the teaser trailer, and I was like, you know what? This is Star Citizen in offline mode, since it's Squadron 42. This is literally where it should shine. It looks much better than the PU. Yeah, okay. This could actually be a really good live stream. And I was just really shocked to see that the frame rate was what it was. And I'm sure that's why they didn't do it in a live stream, because I'm sure if they had tried to actually play this in real time, it probably would have been a fucking nightmare. Not to mention however many crashes and whatnot. I'm sure that this was very masterfully edited together to actually function. Anyways, so the live stream starts off with literally what was that? That had to have been let's see. Yeah, that had to have been a 20-minute, 30-minute tour of the fucking studio. Why did they think that was necessary? It wouldn't have actually been that bad if it had been just a normal ATV where they just uploaded it. But their decision to live stream it was so antagonizing, because I know personally I skip through the shit I don't want to see, right? I just go straight into what I actually want to watch of the ATV. Nunya, thank you so much for the bits, my friend. How are you doing on this glorious holiday season? Bearbask, how's it going? My bad, guys. My bad. Let me slide chat over so I can actually see it. Yeah, right, Dad's Kitchen. That's absolutely what it felt like, right? And especially after they took the time to bother showing all of the fucking studio interior for fucking ever, and it just dragged on and on and on. I was like, okay, they're gonna drop something really good. It's gonna be just blow everybody away for this build up. Andrea, how's it going? And then when they actually showed the gameplay, I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me right now? I was just really shocked. I honestly, especially like, you know, for years they've been going on and on about how the performance issues, the frame rate stuff is tied into their netcode. And, you know, only recently, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right before the Crytek lawsuit, they had a CIG employee on Spectrum saying, "Oh, it's fucking move speed." Thank you, move speed. I love you, baby. Finally, you know, they have a CIG employee come out on Spectrum and say, "Oh, it's not the netcode guy. It has to do with the engine and blah blah blah." And all this other shit. I don't remember his exact quote and his exact excuse, but anyways. So for the longest time, I was thinking, okay, Squadron 42 is going to actually run decent because it's not going to be dependent on their netcode. And if they actually do the drop-in, drop-out co-op like they had originally pitched with Squadron 42, it's going to be like, you know, I'm guessing 2 people, maybe 4 at most. So, you know, it should perform pretty decently. And instead, we get this same as 3.0 stuttering. You can see the frame loss and everything else, and this is offline, single player, right? And the thing that like really fucking kills me is, they fucking CIG uses their demo machines that they use for demonstrations are like fucking gamer PCs on steroids, right? Like 2 years ago, during the 2.0 multi-crew demo, somebody in the audience was like, "Hey, Chris, what kind of machine are you guys running this on?" And he's like, it's Titan X's and SLI and like 300 gigabytes of RAM and like a Intel i20 processor. And like, I remember thinking back then, I'm like, holy shit, what kind of person has a machine like that? And it just really kind of shocked me back then. But at the same time back then, I was like, I was a hardcore believer and all this other shit. So I'm like, oh yeah, PC Master Race, no problem, man. I'll buy spaceships, and then right before the game goes live, I'll just buy a whole new computer and just dump hard into it and top of the line everything. And now I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like, console games are getting to a point where they're looking as high in fidelity as Star Citizen. So by the time fucking Star Citizen and Squadron 42 actually do go live, they're not even gonna look that good in comparison to like every other game out there. Like, they're not gonna stand out. So it's amazing to me that like they're on these top end machines and Squadron 42 ran as bad as it did. That really blew my mind. Like, did you guys think it was actually like, were you expecting better frame rate? That's what I'm curious. Was anybody else thinking like, oh, is it gonna run as bad as it did? Edison, you should probably go look at some other console games, man, because there are plenty of them out there now that are looking very, very comparable to Star Citizen. Oh, I think 2019 is a very optimistic guess, Stipios. I honestly, like, I would be shocked if the first chapter of Squadron 42 dropped in 2019. That would really, really surprise me. And that kind of like leads into one of the other things that I was going to kind of gloss over. But the fact that they were like excusing away the performance the entire time before they actually started with the whole like, oh, this is, keep in mind, guys, this is pre-alpha. This is really, really early stages, guys. So don't judge us on this. And like really, really excusing it away kind of lends a little bit of credit to the belief that Squadron 42 is probably quite a ways out. Because I mean, this is the kind of language and the kind of talk that they were giving like fucking a year and a half ago when they were talking about 3.0, and that was before 3.0 got like chopped up and moved around and became 3.0 light essentially. You know, I mean, God knows when we'll get an actual official 3.0 release. So I mean, I'm really surprised that like the shape it was in. Yeah, it was definitely boring, which I'm not surprised because, see, this is kind of one of my things, right? I talk a lot of shit about Chris Roberts, and unfortunately that demo kind of highlighted one of the things that I see Chris Roberts as, right? He really wants to be a movie director, right? And I feel like the direction he's taking Star Citizen, especially Squadron 42 in, is much more of a movie than a game, right? Like, that was roughly an hour of that one little mission slice, right? I don't remember if they said that's an entire mission. I don't think so, right? Like, it kind of looked like they concluded the stream or the video before, like, you had really wrapped up what you were doing in that mission. So I'm assuming that's just part of the mission. So we're looking at, like, over an hour of gameplay right there. And the majority of it was spent walking around or flying around. Like, you weren't really doing anything. So, I don't know, man. I feel like he doesn't have a good grasp on what normal gamers are going to look at it and say, oh, this is fun gameplay. I think the Morrow Tour was 2 years ago, maybe, K-Dub? It might have been 3. I don't remember anymore. It was 2015. I'm pretty sure it was 2015. Yeah, absolutely 666. That whole sequence was really weird. Hey Peter, the sales are starting now. I don't know what all they brought back for the holiday stream sale. God, why do I keep calling it stream? Okay, it's not a holiday stream anymore. Now it's the holiday sale. But the sales have started. I mean, I said it was going to happen, right? Like, whenever everybody was knocking on me for, like, my last video that talked on 3.0, I said CIG is going to release 3.0 to the masses by the holiday so that they can capitalize on it for the holiday sales. Everybody's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. CIG's going to put it out when it's done. And I was like, okay, that's very uncharacteristic of CIG. But if you think that that's how they're going to operate. And it was actually really smart the way they did it, though, because CIG is saying, oh, hey, PTU access to everybody. So now both CIG and the fucking apologists can go, oh, well, it's still PTU build, so it doesn't count. You can't talk shit about how fucking terrible the frame rate is. So, well done, CIG. I think I've said this a couple times now recently, but you really have to give props to CIG. Their marketing department, I mean, like, they are fucking on point. They are so good at, like, using the right wording, tactics. I mean, if they were as good at making video games as they were at marketing, dude, I would fucking buy Star Citizen so many times. Let me tell you. I do like that the Avenger is bigger, Darth Pulvin. Let's see. Where's the Avenger? It would have been towards the end. Back it up a little bit. Back it up a little more. We're not ready for Tonks yet. I like the Avenger, right? I'm glad that they made it bigger because the interior was definitely kind of a pain in the ass. The problem I have with the Avenger is it is now the new Vanguard. It is now a good bit bigger. It has a much larger silhouette to hit, especially when Star Citizen combat is all about them top and bottom shots. So it's a much bigger fucking frame and target to shoot at, which means it's probably going to be slower and less maneuverable now because it's going to have more mass. And unless they up the weaponry on this thing, it is now the new Vanguard, in that its size is disproportionate for its role, like its weight class, if you will, and it punches well under its weight class. So that is now my big fucking concern with the Avenger. It's now much larger, and it was already kind of weakishly armed before this rework. Now I'm even more concerned about, like, the Avenger being essentially... It's still a great, like, low-price, entry-level ship, right? Hands down. The Avenger's great for that. It's good for being multi-role. But the problem is it's now very big. There are ships that can haul cargo better. There are ships that can fight better in its size. So it's just, now it's one of those ships that I feel like it doesn't have an identity at this point, outside of being a very cheap ship that does a lot of different things. I mean, changing its main gun doesn't help it much if it's still the same size mounts, right? Like, that doesn't really fix the problem. The problem, it's just like the fucking Vanguard. I mean, you can switch the main cannon out on the Vanguard. It's still atrociously underarmed, very big, very slow, and gets just murdered by anything that fucking, anybody that knows how to fucking decently fly. So, I mean, in my opinion, the Avenger is essentially, it's the new Vanguard. It's the Vanguard Light. And I don't mean in terms of like, it is a Vanguard. I mean, it has the Vanguard's problems. Holy shit, let's see. There's one thing that I really want to fucking harp on them about. And,
Sir, if you're not...
Alright, that right there, right? That's how fucking all the fucking people on the fucking Stanton should be addressing your player character. I shouldn't have to hear, hey, Lieutenant, 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 LT. Actually, I would have appreciated an LT at that point, right? Like, fucking please, somebody break up the fucking non-stop Lieutenant spam. What the fuck, man? I can't think of a time I have ever called a lieutenant, Lieutenant. Ever. Sir, hey, sir, how's it going, sir? Hey, sir, I need you to do this. Hey, sir, can I get this paperwork? Hey, sir, that's a stupid idea, sir. Sir, you really don't know what the fuck you're talking about, sir. At no point would I call a lieutenant a lieutenant. At no point would I call my company commander captain. Hey, captain. Fucking Chris Roberts. Oh, god damn, man. That dude watches too many fucking movies. And clearly he's watching like super cheesy fucking movies. Okay, Barrows. In the Navy, do you guys address your officers by their rank? Because in the Army, you don't fucking do that. You do not fucking call them by their rank. It's sir or ma'am. Never do you do that. It was so fucking cringy for one, because it's just, in my experience, completely unrealistic. It's fucking annoying as hell having to hear fucking, hey, Lieutenant, hey, Lieutenant, hey, Lieutenant, Lieutenant. Like, yeah, it's, oh my god, man.
I sincerely appreciate the offer, Captain, but you've done enough already. Shipman's more than capable of handling the situation.
Exactly, 11 Charlie. Exactly, right? Like,
you misunderstand.
oh boy. Oh man.
I was merely informing you of my
It was so weird.
While your involvement is welcomed and strongly encouraged, it is entirely optional. Our involvement, however, is not.
Okay, so maybe it's another country thing, but in the U.S. military, I've never seen it happen. So okay, I guess maybe that's why. I don't. It's weird because the game, like having it be in English, and with Chris Roberts being English, maybe it's British thing, right? Maybe that would excuse it. It probably is a British thing. In the United States military, like, we do not do that, right? It's sir or ma'am. Holy shit.
Well, you were right, Cole.
Yeah, absolutely, Shadowfax. It was really weird. God, why did they make Mark Hamill look so fucking weird? And it's odd because, like, I feel like all the other A-list actors that they hired for mocap, their characters look pretty dead on to, like, what the actor looks like. And then Mark Hamill just looks like, oh, I don't know. It's weird. Oh, man. If nothing else, so, like, if it's a foreign military thing where other countries do actually address by rank, which, again, just doesn't happen in the U.S., especially in the Army. I can't speak for the Air Force or the Navy or the Marines, but in the Army, you don't do that. If nothing else, they need to mix up the fucking audio or something, because having it say, "Hey, Lieutenant. Oh, how's it going, Lieutenant? What's up, Lieutenant?" Like, that shit really was just fucking old after like 30 seconds in. And when you spend fucking 15 minutes walking around the ship having that happen, holy crap. I was ready to mute the stream by like the fucking 35th Lieutenant. Yeah, his hair looks weird. I think it's something to do with their lighting also. Like the way faces look in this this video they did today is just really weird. I can only assume it's something to do with the lighting, because it definitely looks off. I know, right? Poor Onion Knight. Nobody's safe. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get to see more of their A-list actors. That kind of bummed me out a little bit. But, you know, whatever. Oh, God, man. Yeah, it's definitely like the light. That's what I feel like it is, right? Is the lighting, because like everybody is just super shiny and glossed. It's almost like they're fucking wet. It definitely looks off. But I mean, like that's nitpicky as shit, right? Like it's fair for that to be fucked up, since it's pre-alpha, work in progress. I'll let that slide. And say that, you know, lighting is something that I'm sure they're tuning and working on. All right. Oh, man. I think, like, one of the biggest things that I have an issue with is we waited so long for Squadron 42 gameplay. And with them doing it like this, instead of, like everything else they do it live, right? And I feel like the reason they didn't do this live is because they had to cut a bunch of takes together in order to make it look like it was like seamless and not full of bugs and other issues. And that really like makes me feel like they're being disingenuous, especially when like we still have no idea how far along it is. Like, where are they in terms of its development? They didn't talk about that at all, really. And it just makes me, like, have a lot of questions in terms of, like, okay, what kind of stuff are they faking in this to make this vertical slice work? Not that I saw one, K-Dub. I never saw a release date or anything like that. I'm sure at this point they know better than to put a release date on Squadron 42. Well, and that's one of the things too. We'll hit up the FPS here in a second. Skipping through all of the fucking like walking simulator, and I thought DayZ was bad. Holy shit. And then the flying simulator, some Microsoft Space Flight Simulator. Let's see if I can do this without blowing past it. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. All right, here we are. Our first fucking real cut of Ace Pilot fucking player character. This was exactly the kind of scene that makes me think like, okay, like how much shit are they like cheesing for this demo, right? Because this dude can't hit the fucking broadside of fucking a planet. And he's going through these fucking enemy NPCs, right? And he's just fucking mowing them down faster than you can kill the fucking first swarm waves in Vandal Swarm with like a meta build out, right? Like fucking Super Hornet with fucking the best weapons for the particular build, right? And this dude's shredding them faster than that. And when I see shit like this, it just makes me think like, oh man, how much of this shit are they faking? Because this dude's fucking just terrible aim. Terrible. So like, I can't get a good feel for like, okay, how is the combat going to be in Squadron 42? Because either he's got some fucking developer fucking weapons on. Oh yeah, absolutely, Devil. It's fucking impossible to do dogfighting in 3.0. So I'm sure fucking it's equally a fucking nightmare in this. No problem. Like, I'm not saying this guy can't shoot, but in this video, he can't fucking shoot, right? So I hate it because I can't fucking tell, like, okay, is it going to be challenging? Is it going to be interesting? How are the AI or anything like that? Because, like, he's just sort of, like, insta-gibbing them. And I can't see how he should be doing that because he hits, like, fucking, like, 1 in 100 of his shots. Darth Bulbin. Yeah, absolutely, Mad Mike. And that's one of the things that I kind of talked about a little bit earlier. I know you said you kind of jumped in the middle of it. But absolutely, like, the machines they're on are definitely, as you said, machines that I couldn't afford in 5 years, right? For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, the HUD is a fucking nightmare. And it's weird because I feel like every iteration they have of the heads-up display, it gets worse. And I'm just like, God, what the fuck? Hey, Pyro, how's it going, my man? I mean, and that might be part of Chris Roberts' genius, though, Satano, is, you know, he's delaying the release and everything's so far out that by the time it does release, everybody's system will be able to run it because their system, what's modern in that era, will be able to actually properly run Star Citizen. So he was playing the long con and nobody saw it coming. I'm just like, I really didn't expect them to show this much of Squadron 42, but I absolutely expected what they were going to show of Squadron 42 would run much better than what it did. Like, because the whole time I'm watching this, all I'm thinking is, if this dude was playing this mission on my computer, it would be like fucking 5 frames a second for sure. 11 Charlie, do I think it's going to come out? I don't think it's going to come out the way everybody thinks it's going to come out if it does. With the lawsuit, who knows? There's so many fucking variables there that it would just be so hard to fucking make an accurate prediction, right? And I'm not Derek Smart, so I don't have a magic 8-ball that can tell me everything that's going to happen. I think if Crytek's claims are in fact legitimate, which, unless there's something on CIG's defense that we don't know about, a lot of their claims are fucking accurate from what we can see. Looking inward, right? We can see all the CryEngine stuff being removed. You know, they show the fucking code and bug smashers. That one would be something they'd really have to argue. I don't know, like, how much of that is considered, you know, copyright infringement and showing off source code stuff and whatnot. The code in bug smashers says CryEngine still, which seems weird. I've never seen another game that's supposedly developed on Lumberyard, so I don't know if, like, Lumberyard actually says Lumberyard. So is CIG still using CryEngine? Was CIG like restricted in an exclusivity clause? Like there's just so much there to not, like, we don't know yet. But if CIG did in fact, you know, violate all these complaints, then I think CIG is going to be in a lot of trouble, right? And I can see them pushing certain things out a lot sooner than what they wanted to, in an attempt to try to be like, oh, hey, it's out. We got a game. No refunds. Go see our lawyer if you think that you can get a refund now, because we've released. And there really wouldn't be much you could do at that point. Yeah, that's the thing is, like, everybody's like, oh, well, Crytek's, this is just a last desperate gasp from Crytek trying to get money. And it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm so sick of people saying, oh, Crytek's just desperate for money. Even if they were desperate for money, which every indication is they are not desperate for money now, it wouldn't fucking matter. If CIG did in fact violate those agreements in the GLA, then it doesn't fucking matter. That's totally 100% on CIG. They fucking did it to themselves if the allegations are true. So stop fucking talking shit about Crytek. Like, that's just stupid. The things that Crytek is alleging that they did, you can verify a lot of them by just looking at it. So the only question then becomes, okay, did CIG have some way to get out of their GLA that we don't know about? Such as like arguing that, oh, well, Crytek wasn't living up to their support for the engine or something like that, right? But that would be it. So it's just, it's stupid to say, oh, Crytek's just desperate for money. They're just hoping to get a settlement. They don't need the money. Not now. Crytek, like, what, a year ago, something like that? Maybe. Yeah, you can make that argument. But still, it wouldn't matter if they needed the money or not. If CIG's violating the GLA, then they're violating the GLA. Well, yeah, Tonks, man. I'm so glad that they fucking had the French guy do that. I'm so glad. That was like the best part of the entire fucking stream, was the French guy pronouncing it Tonk. That made me so happy. That alone redeemed a lot of the kind of weird, janky fucking gameplay of Squadron 42 that we saw in this demo. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's like the thing, Nopo. I'm gonna just call you Nopo, okay? Because I fucking butcher names, just to give you a heads up. Like, they're all about, you know, engaging the toxic community to further the fucking CIG agenda. And that's one of the reasons that, like, I fucking hate CIG now as a company, right? Like, the game, I wish that it was going to get made, right? Like, I would love to see Star Citizen get delivered. And everybody's like, oh, fucking Failure hates CIG, and he just wants to see Star Citizen fucking burn. I would love to see Star Citizen actually get made, so ease up with that shit. But CIG is, like, purposely fucking, like, nurtured and enabled the toxicity element of their fucking community for fucking years. And they've done a really good job of, like, promoting people who are willing to, like, viciously attack other fucking forum users and Reddit users or whatever, because they attack essentially, like, the people that CIG sees as the enemies. So, like, yeah, absolutely. I like, having fucking Star Citizen backers start going off on personal attacks against Crytek employees does not surprise me at all. Yeah, Aaron said that they bought the engine source code outright. Whether or not that ends up being true, I guess we'll see. It's really weird that they would buy the source code outright and then, like, end up with the influx of money that they have and not say, hey guys, like, we know the limitations of this engine. It's not made for what Chris wants to do with the game now. We should look at, like, either buying a better engine or making our own. Yeah, absolutely, Commander Black. Every time I see your name, man, I swear I'm so close to saying Commander Black Slave. Your fucking name, man. Absolutely, right? Like, I would have a lot of fun flying Star Citizen, just to, like, fly the terrain and just dick around. If it fucking, like, performed in any reasonable amount of fucking frames per second, it just fucking doesn't. And, like, the fact that he's kind of got to, like, creep super slow to stop the frame rate from fucking tripping out really makes me nervous that, like, how long am I going to have to wait before the game gets to a playable state where I can fucking, like, fully go at this game and, like, really enjoy it? Because if this dude's computer has him, like, having to go slow and, like, baby steps so the fucking engine can keep up, I have no fucking chance. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the flight model. The flight model itself, I definitely feel like they've regressed in terms of enjoyment with the 3.0 flight model. Yeah, Squirt. At least 5 years. At least 5 years. So CIG has to survive for another 5 years, which at this point, based on some of the concept sales that they're, pulling with, like, land, tanks now, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, how does CIG survive 5 more years? How do they monetize a dream for 5 more years? What else can they sell? And that's one of the biggest things that, like, for everybody who is still a backer of this game, right? I would take a second to, like, reflect and think, okay, what do they have left to sell for that they can feasibly fund themselves for 5 more years? They're already, like, hitting land, so we'll see some stuff like buildings and shit that you can put on your land. Submarines, right, Dads? That's the other thing that I'm thinking is, like, aquatic stuff. Black Eagle, you might want to read his actual name, you fucking retard. It's not Black Slave, it's Black Salve. So, okay, we have buildings and shit like that for land. Aquatic shit, because all the backers are like, oh man, I want to have ships that can go underwater. Even though we're not going to get to fucking water planets anytime fucking soon. Oh, I love this hang up right here. That was the best part. I was like, god damn, even he's freezing up. So then we get back over to fucking more ships, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, what are they going to do for ships? We're already in a slot where, like, all the new concept ships, except for, like, a couple here and there, are essentially the bigger, better version of previous concept ships. And I don't mean bigger in terms of actual size, but bigger in terms of, like, their capabilities. So I'm just like, when I think about how long this game is from release, if they manage to, like, release it, I'm really concerned that, like, how are they going to fund it that far out? That's one of my biggest, like, looking in at CIG and being like, okay. Oh, Black Eagle, are you triggered? Cosmetics wouldn't bother me. But the thing is, like, if you're going to sell cosmetics, you have to actually have an in-game cosmetic, right? You can't sell cosmetics that are going to come someday. Like, I don't think that would fly for very long. It would be one thing for, like, you to have cosmetic. 666, I'm not sure. It might have been. Was that her? Huh. I didn't recognize her. It would be one thing to sell cosmetics, though. Like, and I think most gamers are okay with that. That's something I'm totally cool with, right? I would love to see CIG kind of backpedal away from the whole, like, pay-to-win monetization and move more towards cosmetics. And you could even scale it, right? Like, an Idris cosmetic skin could cost like $100, $200, whatever, right? And people would pay that easily. So I mean, cosmetics would be one. I just, you know, I don't know. They're definitely at least 5 years out from a release, though. There's no way it's coming any sooner. I would totally rock a Star Kit and Idris if I was still going to play this game, for the record. Because, I mean, how do you get any more insulting than that, right? Like, 1, I paid a bunch of money to beat you. 2, my ship looks like a fucking giant pink fucking dildo flying through the void of space. And 3, there's a fucking kitten on it. That's like fucking, that's the dream skin right there. Why would microtransaction skins kill the game, though? I mean, microtransaction ships haven't killed it. I mean, people are like literally able to buy power. I can't imagine them saying like, oh, well, I draw the line at cosmetics. Actually, you know what? I take that back. This is Star Citizen. Anything is possible. If I've learned anything from Star Citizen, it's that none of the gaming community's rules apply here. Because things that normally outrage gamers and the community are totally like cool and defended in the Star Citizen community. So you may well be very, very right. I'd like to see a Big Benny's, like, oh god, what do you call them? Like a taco truck, but a Big Benny's one, where you just cruise around and like pull up to the fucking mining quarry. You can sell fucking Big Benny noodle cups. And like, you know, one of the other things that like you see in this demo is all the clipping issues. And then it really kind of like concerned me when they were talking about the Avenger being scaled up. And they were like, oh yeah, well, the cramped space of the original Avenger just had so many collision issues, so we made everything bigger to get around it. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, is that going to be your answer for everything, is try to find a way to cheat collision problems? AS Race. I have a concierge account, and it has $45 on it. So I'm divested, but I still have my account, and it's still concierge because the amount spent over the account lifetime. Because it doesn't go by how much value you have in your account. It goes by how much you've spent. So I am still concierge as fuck, but my account has basically nothing on it. Yeah, a lot of the textures look kind of ish. I love the elevator scene because like every time I saw like him messing with the elevator during this God, I'm going to call it stream, but just remember it wasn't a stream. But every time I see him like walking over the elevator, I'm like, I wonder how many takes it took him because he kept falling through and clipping underneath the elevator and shit. 666, it was somewhere around 8,000. It's hard to track because a lot of my shit was gray market and it doesn't credit you gray marketed stuff on your like amount spent tracker or whatever. So it was somewhere around 8,000. I mean, so that's the thing though. 2666 is it was 8,000 over the course of like what, 5 years, right? So it's not like I dropped 8,000 in one day. You know, it was like 500 here, 250 here, 750 here, an Idris there, that kind of thing, right? It was over time. It's not like I was like, oh, Star Citizen, this looks interesting. Here's $8,000, right? I don't think anybody, except for people who are actually rich, is like, oh, hey, 10 grand on this. I guess we'll see. If they make it, that's cool. You know, like, I really bought into the whole Star Citizen sales pitch, right? Like, I thought that they could do it. I thought that, like, CIG was a good, trustworthy company. You know, whatever. And I wanted to see the game made, and I wanted to help contribute to that. And for me personally, like, I really wanted the big ship gameplay, right? Like, that was a big part of why I funded Star Citizen, why I wanted to play Star Citizen, because I want that capital ship gameplay. And there's no other game out there that does it, unfortunately, because that's all I actually wanted. I could give a fuck less about, like, the dogfighting. The cargo hauling and stuff is cool, but there's other games out there that do it. I wanted the capital ship gameplay. So that was why, you know, for me, I spent a lot of money, because I wanted a capital ship. I wouldn't be surprised about that, Mad Mike. You know, like, and that's the thing too. That's one of the reasons that, like, I just don't like CIG as a company anymore, is because they absolutely employ predatory marketing, sales, and stuff like that, right? So, you know, it's not that much different than how loot crates exploit people with gambling addictions, in my opinion. They're kind of going after the same kind of targeting, the same demographics. Yeah, this whole combat sequence. I'm gonna real quick pause this shit. It bugs me because CIG goes on and on about, like, oh, subsumption, and our AI is gonna feel like the real thing, and blah blah blah, and all this other shit, and, like, everything you see from the AI in the game essentially is, like, one person in the live stream was like, oh, so it's basically the same as Half-Life 1 20 years ago, and it's like, yeah, basically. Like, I don't ever see their AI doing anything that makes me feel like, holy shit, this is revolutionary. It's fucking, it's typical shooter AI. Like, honestly, I feel like the Call of Duty AI is more fucking, like, challenging and using cover and covering fire than fucking what they have. So I'm like, okay, all right, I guess.
The victims. Looks like they're prepping some more for cryo.
Yeah, Half-Life 1 was incredible. Like, in terms of shooters, I feel like that was still, like, one of my all-time favorites. Especially for its time. Yeah, Fear was absolutely terrifying. I can't comment on that game in depth because I literally could never finish it. You throw in fucking creepy ghost kids and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out. So I guess they haven't progressed their AI subsumption yet to following somebody down a hole after they were literally shooting at him as he dropped down. So like they just forgot he went down there.
Stay alert. You're here somewhere. Lost them. Keep looking. Hey, Trejo.
I was wondering when you decided to show up.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked.
Better late than never. What do you say about getting me out of these things?
I was really hoping when he did that with the cutting torch, like he accidentally like cut her hands off. Because that would have like really upped my fidelity, right? Like if you fuck up, you could accidentally cut her fucking hands off. I'd be like, oh shit. On point, CIG, on point. Like she fucking just drops to the floor and she's screaming at her nubs where fucking she used to have hands, like just trimmed at the wrist. That would have been fucking some fidelity. And you're like, shut the fuck up. Keep it down before we get swarmed, you know? That would have been good.
Found Trejo. We're on the move.
Good work. Planning to get evac out of there.
Agent Trejo, Lieutenant Commander Colden
I'm
said
not leaving till this is done.
Agent Trejo is insisting on helping clear the rest of the base.
I'm just saying it should have been possible. Okay, I'm not saying I would do it intentionally, but, you know, if you're sloppy with your aim and you're like, oh, I'm just going to hurry through this, and you're like, bzz, and her fucking just hand plops off, right? I wouldn't object. I'd be like, oh, well done. I used to be a fucking UEE spy until I took a welding torch in the hand, you know?
Now, remember that this is still very work in progress, and we have a lot of things to fine-tune, but hopefully it gives you an idea of how fluid the story and gameplay will be in Squadron 42. You could be dogfighting at one moment,
Exactly, for immersion's sake.
engaged in intense ground combat the next, or back on your home ship spending time getting to know your shipmate.
Speaking of ships, let's go to Jared for a special ship shake.
Probably Space Owl, if I had to guess.
Welcome to a special holiday edition of Ship Shake, where we give a quick rundown on what's in the ship pipeline.
I hate Jared so much, and I honestly, like, I understand that the community fucking just strokes Disco's shit, but this dude fucking creeps me the fuck out. Every time he talks, it just feels so fucking cheesy, forced, and fucking just salesman-y. I fucking can't stand, like, even when I was, like, still fucking, like, hard into Star Citizen, every time Disco came on in a segment, I was like, oh god, skip, can I skip? If it was a live stream, I would fucking tab out. Please fucking stop. Like, Disco is so fucking, ugh.
Who's working on what? Provide interviews with developers. Bring you the most up-to-date news on your favorite ships working their way to release into the Star Citizen universe. And sometimes, just sometimes, I get the chance to, strut my stuff and answer some burning ship-related questions. I'm your host, Community Content Manager Jared Huckabee. Behind me, you see the ship pipeline, an ever-evolving, continuously refined network of phases, milestones, and requirements necessary before a ship or vehicle can take
Oh yeah, he's super full of himself, for sure. For sure.
Whether it's from design to
I don't like him. Like, he comes across as like a fucking, everything he says is like sales pitchy. Right? Like, I've already fucking bought the fucking game, motherfucker. I already put fucking stupid money into the project, dude. I'm here to fucking see shit about the game, not have you fucking pitch me on the newest concept, you fuck. Shut up.
Up first, let's take a look at the ship that started life as a corvette, but grew up to be the frigate we all know and love, the Idris. by Aegis Dynamics.
Ugh, the fucking Idris, man. I used to want one so bad, the Idris M. And now I'm like... I mean, even if I was gonna, like, play Star Citizen... Oh, God. The more, like, I see the Idris in a complete state, the more I'm like, why did I ever want that ship? It is so fucking fucked up. Okay, so... We were talking about this in the Discord chat. And, like... Why would you make a fucking half carrier, half fucking frigate? Like, it just makes no sense. The hangar is fucking so small, and the fact that it's an inline hangar deck and there's no space to have ships stowed or change the launch order or anything like that is so fucking dumb. Yeah, losing the Idris M really sucked. That was probably the beginning of the end for me, honestly. I'm fine with a budget carrier, 666. That's cool if people want that, but like the whole, how is there a deck to store the ships? Like, where are you seeing that? Because I've never seen anywhere where you could store the ships. Anyways, I'm fine with like a pocket carrier or whatever, or a budget carrier, whatever you want to call it. It's just the fact that like you can't maneuver that shit in any way, shape, or form, right? On the interior. If it had been a little wider, so where you could have ships off to the side, that would be totally different, right? So that the launch lane is its own fucking lane. Or like bays, as Trip was saying in the Discord, where like you have two different bays of two fighters or something like that. However you want to do it, right?
Idris is part of the UE fleet, so you got the Idris, you got the Javelin.
I don't know about that, Edison.
So they're the big.
I've never seen anything talk about that ever.
Idea and concept came from a collaboration with Chris and Ryan Church at the time. It started off as a much.
Everything I've seen is that the Idris has the 3 hook points that are in line on the launch deck, and that's it.
What we initially did was we kind of we set it up as a small ship basically. So we followed all the guides for small ships. So like it's divided into transport boarding modes, left and right wing. We put all the hard points on it just to make sure it could function like that. And then we started working towards setting up the interior. So we tried to get all the interior objects inside it. But then that's where we started encountering some of the initial like early technical limitations, where loading the Idris was taking ages. We were using, they weren't object containers, they were something else, I've forgotten the name. But like what was happening is they were trying to load and they were loading just piles and piles of files that they really shouldn't have been doing, which was slowing everything down. So we had Steve Humphries, one of our coders, he spent a while and he set up creating these object containers which we could just compile a bunch of these items into. Like,
yeah, I like the thin Idris was kind of cool. I would have honestly loved to have seen them keep that concept, but fucking gut out the hangar section, right? And say, okay, you know, this is the interior of the ship, right?
Process for all the systems that are going in, and yeah, object containers is kind of like it's one of the biggest that it happened with, but there's loads more going on in that.
So pretty much every bit of new tech that's come into the ship pipeline, or like volumetric fog or anything like that, has gone into the Idris first. It's been like the test ground for every other ship, and it's the biggest ship and it's like the main hub in Squadron 42. So
yeah, I've never seen anything about storing ships above the flight line ever on the Idris.
In Squadron, it's pretty much your home. You kind of go back to it an awful lot. So it needed to facilitate a lot more, kind of a lot more of the scripts.
I mean, honestly, the Hammerhead is essentially the ship that I wanted out of the Idris. So
we had to work out from the inside out, like the layout of the ship.
Actually, the Hammerhead is what I wanted the Polaris to be, is what I should say. The Idris is the size I want, but I want a more like capital ship-to-ship focused
And that's really cool. Actually.
capital ship.
It kind of feeds your inspiration as to what kind of various areas can be. So, you know, it feeds, you need a reactor, you need a buffet, you need all these things, and it's kind of subconsciously fed into the design.
Everything punches above its weight class in Star Citizen until it doesn't.
As much as possible to make sense of each ship.
And that's you know, concept ships in Star Citizen 101, right? The new concept is always fucking incredible and punches above its weight class until the next concept that is in the same role comes out, and then the previous one punches below the weight class, and the new one is the great one to have.
You'll walk out the kitchen and be like, do I turn left or right to get to the nose of the ship? You know, we were putting a bunch of
Ben Lesnick wheezes above his weight class.
We got signposts everywhere.
I don't think people realise how much this ship has. I think there is a lot of hidden places that people just don't realise. Like pretty much every bit of the interior of the ship has been covered. There is not. We're actually struggling to find places to put more things into it because we're limited on the exterior. Basically, we needed to get some airlocks into like the front section of the ship, and we were like, okay, where can we put these airlocks? And it's like we can't put them on the side because of the angle of the front of the ship, so we've had to put them going up. But there's a lot of space on the exterior part of the front, but on the interior part, it wasn't. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. We have to juggle a lot of.
I don't know. I mean, if Crytek can prove that like they violated everything, because they're requesting like essentially everything be brought back to them, right? So if they can get a hold of essentially the Star Citizen assets and everything that was developed within CryEngine, I'm sure they can sell that shit off.
This is the living quarters, whatever. For the Idris, it's also very small. It's not quite that clear cut. It's kind of everything's right next to each other, and it's all very sort of tightly packed into the ship. But I mean, you start off with the hangar at the very base of the ship, and it's huge. Troops in there, and there's cargo capacity along the sides of the hangar as well. Other one, it's all very sort of tightly packed into the ship. But I mean, you start off with the hangar at the very base of the ship, and it's huge. Troops in there, and there's cargo capacity along the sides of the hangar as well. Along with cargo lifts to go up into the hangar bay on the floor above, but you then have like a couple of staircases that will take you up to the main deck of the ship. Pretty much everything else on the ship is. You've got like, at the nose, you've got like turret rooms, you've got the med bay. Behind that, you've got like the living quarters.
Peter, it depends, right? So like one of the things is like everybody watched that Leonard dude's video, right? The lawyer who like went through the thing and he gave his legal like, oh hey, this is how the complaint reads, whatever. And that's fine, right? But like, you know, some of the shit to think of is, you know, some of the shit they're asking for is like revoking the license entirely from CIG for one. So if CIG loses that, Crytek's going to go after, you know, essentially wanting Star Engine back to them, right? So that means CIG essentially is having like the rug pulled out from underneath them. And that alone is more impactful than any fine that they could get, right?
Open up access to, it's the heart of the ship, so open up access to the rest of the ship. I'm very kind of keen at the time to open up as many kind of portals of opportunity, I kind of call them, where you can see through into other sections of the ship. So you can walk out of the hangar, for example, you can walk for a good 5 minutes, and you kind of double back and stuff, and all of a sudden you're looking back down into the hangar.
Especially if they get an injunction beforehand, right? If they can get an injunction and fucking pull the license out from underneath CIG, by the time they pull the license back and CIG has to go, okay, well, we have to go license a whole new engine. You know, one, they're going to have to find another fucking, you know, company that will license an engine to them after, you know, if the allegations are true, CIG shows, hey, we're willing to violate GLAs. We don't give a fuck. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We had many challenges because we had obviously Squadron 42.
They say they have Lumberyard, but everything in Bug Smasher says CryEngine still, and copyright Crytek GmbH or whatever. So I don't know.
like connection with everyone. It's your main base essentially. So Squadron 42 is probably one of the main ones we've been gearing it towards, and then the persistent universe is just stemmed from
Holy shit, Space Owl. Damn.
collaborative gameplay is probably like
99 people. You're a terrible person.
you're going to need a big crew to run the ship. It's not like any other ship in the game. You're going to need a hefty crew support with this ship. You can't run it on your own. It's so big. To get from one point to another can take 5 minutes, and you're going to need to be able to communicate with the rest of your party.
You need a crew to really fly this thing. We've got a bunch of like seats on the bridge, and what we've done is each seat has a different priority. So the pilot seat has priority over the engines, and if the pilot seat is then left unoccupied, if you have a co-pilot seat in the co-pilot seat, they have priority on the engine, so the pilot can, I don't know, if they get killed, and you'll go.
Space Owl, you're fucking terrible. Terrible person.
Will be able to do their own thing with their terminal. Then you have the weapon seat, which controls the gun, but the pilot can also control the gun if the weapon seat isn't being used. There's this sort of interlaying like dependency on the seats, so it's worth having multiple people just because there's going to be a lot to do, and one person won't be able to do it all.
It's pretty much got what other ships have, but it's just such a larger scale that.
I wonder how many Idris owners just like had a heart attack when he said one person won't be able to do it all.
Star Wars movies, I think that's my most exciting part.
We have a kind of ongoing little giggle about it. It kind of is good at everything. Like there's nothing that I don't feel it's particularly weak at for that size of ship. You can carry obviously three kind of Gladius small size fighters in the hangar. We also have the Argo utility vehicle, which tucks into like a sub deck underneath the ship, which is really interesting. It kind of drops down like the Aliens dropship scene, which is sweet. And then you've got pretty much everything else that it can do as well. You've got multiple turrets across the top and the bottom of the ship. You've got a huge railgun at the front. Plenty of cargo space to the side of the hangars. It's a level. Like there's so much stuff in this ship that's actually physically flying through the universe with people sat in it, and all the VFX is staying with it, and all the fog's staying with it, and all the usables are staying with it, and all the components are staying with it. Everything in there moves and is interactable, and this thing's flying at light speed through space. So
I could totally see that, Christian. Them selling that stuff as like, oh hey, want to pilot your Idris by yourself? You can pay $50 real and have an NPC crew do everything at optimal performance.
Looking out the side window of
God, we should never talk about that again because that will absolutely be a thing.
You get these moments that completely kind of change your attitude to things, and it kind of makes you want to go even further. It's hard, like it is really hard to do that stuff, and you can kind of, it takes its toll on you as an individual, but then you get these moments.
AS race, land claims I think are fucking ludicrous for them to be doing right now. They're so far out from that being an actual game mechanic that it's just insulting that they did it. But the thing that really bothered me about land claims was that they refused to just call it fucking land claims. Like, say you're selling land. Why? Like, the fact that they fucking tried to, like, dance around it was really fucking irritating to me. I hate that they couldn't just man up and be like, yeah, we're selling land. You guys have bought plenty of other things you didn't see for 5+ years. We're not doing anything different here.
This vessel moves into flight prep, but you can be certain when that time comes, we're going to let you know. Moving along to another ship playing an important role in the story of Squadron 42, let's take a look at the current rework of the little penguin that could, the Aegis Avenger.
The Avenger is one of the original, way back in the day, ships that went into the game.
No radio. 3.0 is completely unplayable for me. The frame rate is just so fucking low that like you really can't do anything. Unless you're playing it in offline mode or you get lucky on being in an empty server. So I wouldn't even bother trying. A couple people were going to get on and have some fun on 3.0 today, but all of us are getting like 15 frames at best. So we were like, well, guess that's not happening.
It wasn't just for the sake of doing the main reason for that is
the highest frames I got today were like 30 something. Actually, I think I hit 40 at one point, and it just slowly crawled down until it settled at 20.
by the time you put the ship components into what was a small ship, you've got no room to maneuver, and it was very tight anyway. The original Avenger had that kind of crouch space in the middle, so we wanted to get away, do away with all that, and basically make the ship easily traversable either in gravity or in zero gravity by expanding the middle section and kind of building that out so it can accommodate all the components from tech design. You can sleep there, you can walk there basically, rather than having to go into this kind of crouch pose, which created all sorts of collision issues.
You are definitely the minority then, Edison.
The changes we've been making on the Avenger have been bringing the textures and shaders up to a higher quality, adding a little bit more.
The FPS counter absolutely is not accurate for me. I'll go ahead and talk about that really quick. I did some tests with it today because the frames were showing me like 20 something when I was essentially like stuttering and hitching and fucking not getting any, like it would literally hitch, and the frame counter is sitting there like 20, 21, and I'm like, how am I getting 20, 20? Like I'm clearly at like single digit frames, maybe like 10, maybe 15, definitely not 20 plus. Like what there's no way this frame rate is right. So I booted up NVIDIA's GeForce Experience fucking FPS overlay and set it next to the fucking Star Citizen overlay, and they were definitely different. They were not the same at all. The Star Citizen in-game FPS counter was like optimistically 5, and then in some cases 10, 15 frames per second more than what NVIDIA was telling me my frames were at. And the NVIDIA one is definitely what it felt like. It was definitely like when the NVIDIA one tanked, it was noticeably like my gameplay is like going fucking slideshow mode, and the other one is like, oh no, yep, we're good here, guys, we're good, everything's good. So that shit is jank as fuck. Yeah, that's using the R display info command.
It's been around a bit longer and seen a bit of action effectively. So we wanted the textures to have a little more grunge, things that look a little bit more worn, a little bit kind of more used effectively, and we wanted just to polish up the geometry on the.
Yeah, anytime I try to get into combat with Nail, it's fucking. You can't shoot at anything, and like I'm sure the fucking desync is still fucking shit. It's just I'm not even gonna bother trying.
Distorting the design in any way. You still wanted the cockpit and spaces to feel quite enclosed, but we didn't want to change the proportionality between the bounds of the cockpit and the ship itself, because it's all quite intrinsic in the proportion of the design. So a lot of that has had some rework and some back and forth, but I think we're quite happy with where it is currently.
The interior has got a lot bigger. Whilst we've done this rework, we obviously wanted to fix the component issues. We wanted to sort the middle section out so it's traversable easily. The cockpit's generally got a little bit bigger, so the camera's got a bit more room to maneuver in there. And we've also sorted the rear ramp out, so there's no collision issues there now, especially with the new compression system coming in, because we're finding with a lot of ships, once they compress, that whole metric that you work to kind of goes out the window, so you have to.
That would be like karma-wise pretty fucking hilarious. Theta Protocol. I would laugh over that. That would actually genuinely be funny as fuck if like Crytek was just straight trolling CIG. Like, aha, you didn't want to fucking pay us, huh? Alright. We gotcha.
Retrofitted, and now revisiting the ship, we felt that making it a little bit bigger and making the space inside.
Yeah, I mean, really, with Nail, I think that's like the best course of action, right? Is try in a year, hope to God that they're starting to get their shit together by next year, because so far 3.0 is looking like a fucking mostly unplayable mess for most people. Like there's some people out there who are very fortunate and either getting really lucky with frames or I don't know. I don't even know, right? Like, it doesn't make sense.
You have like different versions of the ship in the game, should we say, without having to kind of going and redo the whole ship all the time. Obviously, that's very kind of labor intensive and kind of it's intensive on the engine as well. So it's really about kind of swapping sections out as quickly as possible. So the EMP was, I think it was done, three years ago now. And it's massive, like it's the ship's main kind of weapon, should we say. It completely replaces the whole cargo space or the bounty hunter space. Cargo space is what it is. I mean, it's just not too much more I can say about that. And then the bounty hunter, what's really interesting about that is the way that you can configure.
Well, that's the problem. You bandies is they said it's not the netcode, right? Which is fucking like ironic because they've spent so many years telling us, oh, it's the netcode, guys. Wait until we get netcode in. The big netcode Jesus patch is gonna fix it all. Hallelujah! And then they were like, it's not netcode. A lot of people seem to be confused on how this stuff works, so let us clear the air. It's not netcode. And everybody was like, then why you be telling us it's netcode?
So anyone that's just sort of just got into the game, you're quite enjoying what you start a ship and you'd be like, oh, I want to move on to a bigger ship. I think the Avenger. If you don't.
No, they said it's not it's not the netcode. Like 4 weeks ago, one of the CIG bros was on Spectrum and he was like, listen up, everybody. You guys don't understand game development. It's not the netcode. And he essentially said it was the engine, which everybody's basically been saying forever. They're like, oh, it's fucking Crytek, or it's CryEngine. It's not made for this. Like, it's not gonna fucking do this right. It will be a miracle if they ever manage to fucking get this to work at the scale. Not the scale that they want, but it will be a miracle if they ever get this to fucking work with like 100 people. The scale they want is never going to happen. And that's essentially what everybody's been saying for fucking ever. And that's more or less what the fucking dev said. He was like, oh, it's not the scale, guys. Or it's not the netcode, it's the engine and trying to get it to do what we want it to do.
I find myself wanting to put a giant bullhorn on top of it and fly it around the galaxy like I'm a Blues Brother.
Yes, they are, Lars. And it's actually coming up next.
With the continuing development of Squadron 42 necessitating
I got you, Mono. I'm just waiting until the tank section comes up. Trust me, I'm going to talk about the tank. I'm going to talk about the tank. Oh, yeah.
Now, when that team has completed their work, it will move back to the Star Citizen art team, where they will make any adjustments necessitated for the specific use within the persistent universe, before it then moves on to flight prep, and then it's
CIG didn't say that the engine can't do it. Everybody else has been saying the engine can't do it. CIG came out and said, hey guys, it's not the netcode, it's the engine.
It's a good movie. From the soaring adventures of Squadron 42, we travel through the tough terrain and terrestrial trade of Tumbril. Yeah. With an interview about the latest concept offering from our newest manufacturer, the Tumbril tank. Let's take a look.
So the Tumbril Nova, this is our first sort of trip into looking at large military vehicles, land-based vehicles. So this is the heavy tank.
It's a really big tank. It's bigger than many tanks I think exist right now. This is like 12 meters long, 5 meters tall, 9 meters wide tank. So this is pretty big. This allows the player to stand upright in the tank. He won't have to crouch or to have some weird stance like in the Rover or some other vehicles.
So this is built by Tumbril, which is a relatively new company in terms of the sort of art style that we've been working with. And this is the large battle tank basically. So this is like the size of a small.
All right. So obviously, like, it's not really that, like, I get it, he's French in his accent. It's just fucking funny. I don't really care that much about the way he's saying tonk instead of tank. I just thought it was amusing with his accent and saying tonk, which is funny because, like, I'm used to calling them tonks and, like, making fun of, like, the Russians. God damn it, Edison, you beat me fucking to it. All right, well, since Edison just linked that shit. All right, here's my issue with the fucking tonk, all right? The fact that, like, let's see if I can skip forward enough to get to where he's
a missile alert from a spaceship.
The main turret, visible, that ran
blabbing about his fucking ingenuity.
At the front there.
Solid, but it's not, you know, it's not full of trinkets. It's, you know, it hasn't got a
easy entry point. This is not.
All right. My big issue is with fucking Homeboy acting like he says, he specifically says, oh, well, what kind of influences did we have when we made this tank? And he's like, oh, well, you know, we fucking... he's like, oh, yeah, we were heavily influenced by fucking Tumbrel because, you know, blah, 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 all this other bullshit. And it's like, dude, yeah? Like, tell me more about how you were influenced by Tumbrel, design styling and all this. Like, you fucking almost one-for-one'd the fucking PLO1. Like, it's so fucking close. Poland should be suing CIG for copyright infringement. Like, don't fucking act like you fucking can't. And, like, you know what? CIG has had a pretty spotty history of, like, heavily leaning on things for inspiration. But this one is, like, so fucking leaned on for inspiration. And the fact that they act like it isn't basically them copying this, like, they archered the shit out of this tank. Like, the front and shit is so fucking, like, even, like, the lighting and shit is basically fucking the same. Give credit where it's fucking due, you cocksuckers. Like, fucking Reddit is so up in arms about, like, fucking anytime somebody posts a fucking picture on the fucking pic subreddit, and they're like, oh, you should fucking credit the fucking artist. Like, but everybody's like, oh man, the Nova is so good. Oh god, CIG is so original. And nobody wants to be like, dude, you guys, like, legit just copied the shit out of that, huh? Huh. Right? Like, exactly, Ezekiel. Like, that's my only issue is, like, what's his nuts, like, literally doesn't even say, like, oh yeah, we really pulled inspiration from the PLO1. Like, that's all you had to say, and I'm like, all right, well, at least you're owning it. But instead he's like, oh yeah, we were really influenced by, like, you know, the Tumbrel Cyclone and, like, that styling, and we really wanted to, like, come up with, like, an in-lore version of how we saw the tank being. And it's like, no, dude, what? Come on.
Like tanks where you have to go.
Don't fucking lie.
On the top or this kind of stuff. On the side of the tank, there's also side skirts that will be linked to suspension. So if you move, the side skirt obviously won't stay at the same position. It will move. It will rise up with the suspension of the tracks.
We haven't gone wild with this. It's more of a natural progression. Tumbrel isn't a wild manufacturer. So we've sort of tried to keep it in fiction, and so you know,
up with the suspension of the tracks.
We haven't gone wild with this. It's more of a natural progression. Tumbrel isn't a wild manufacturer, so we've sort of tried to keep it in fiction, and so you know, you look at it, you know, it is pretty solid, but it's not, you know, it's not full of trinkets. It's, you know, it hasn't got reactive armor plastered all over the sides. This thing has a shield.
Yeah, the suspension and the side plating is literally the exact same as the PLO1. They literally only changed a couple things on the front and a little bit in the turret. It's other than that, it's the PLO1.
Even if your shield goes down. But beyond that, it, you know, it's relatively straight. You know, it's relatively straightforward, I guess. You know. It's got countermeasures, you know, it's got some anti-personnel guns on it. It's got its main barrel, which I think is an S4, and then some like a salvo of missiles, basically for aircraft, etc. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I think that's going to give you a good, you know, good shot at staying alive. And if there's a few of you in these things, then, you know, it should be pretty imposing. You know, I'm sort of looking forward to the day when players are playing the game and you're on one of the moons or one of the planets and you're sort of looking at the horizon, and then this whole battalion sort of starts creeping over. I think that's going to be, you know, that's kind of like a classic World War II moment, isn't it? You know, sort of Sahara-based kind of thing. I mean, it's going to happen in all sorts of worlds, isn't it? You know, different. You know, you're going to have cold moons. You're going to have Sahara, sandy desert. You're going to, I guess, you know, ultimately in the future, we're going to have.
All right. So here's my issues with the tanks, right? For those of you who don't know, when Star Citizen was originally pitched in Kickstarter, it was going to be a spaceship combat simulator, right? It was not going to have planetary landings. That was something that got added in later on. The FPS shit was going to be more like boarding and dealing with stuff in space. Some combat space stations select here and there. But for the most part, it was going to be a spaceship game. They expanded the scope from there, which is fine. They had the money. That's cool. My issue is they still have yet to fucking hammer out the fucking core mechanics of the game. Like, not actually make them, but like iron out how they want them to work in the space game. And now they're selling tanks, so now we're going to have like a focus, like obviously a heavy focus on the ground combat as well. And like they just keep fucking spreading and spreading and spreading it out more and more and more, but they're still struggling to fucking get anything done. Like, and that was a big part of the Squadron 42 reveal for me, is I was like, okay, well, you know what, maybe like the reason we're not seeing so much progress in the PU, in the persistent universe of Star Citizen, is because they're really just going fucking ham on Squadron 42. Maybe Squadron 42 is fucking like really getting it done and just gonna fucking be like, oh, hey guys, guess what? We haven't been talking about it because we're gonna fucking drop this bitch. Boom. And instead they're like, guys, don't judge us, okay? This is very early. It's very early concept, pre-alpha footage. So just hang on. And it's like, what? So now they're pushing out into fucking ground combat and all the fucking other shit that's coming with that. And they can't even fucking nail down a flight model for their fucking spaceship game. They fucking damn sure fucking can't balance their space game. Like fucking every new concept ship hits above its weight class, invalidating the previous concept. They're just fucking getting more and more and more spread out and fucking getting like not enough done to fucking justify how much they're just constantly fucking evolving the scope and evolving what they want to have done. And it's like, god damn, somebody needs to fucking be Chris's boss. Chris needs a fucking boss. Like, at this point, like, I don't care who it is. If Sandy wants to get all fucking like gold digger wife on him or something and be like, listen, bitch, you're gonna fucking ship this motherfucking game so I can fucking make money, I wouldn't even fucking give a shit, dude. I'd fucking send her a fucking dozen roses and be like, thank you, fucking Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Somebody needs to fucking be in a position where they can tell Chris, dude, this is too much. Or, Chris, not right now. This is a great fucking idea, but later. Chris, we need to focus on this shit. Instead, he's like, my vision expands to all things, and we will do all things simultaneously in the development. And it's just like, god damn. So everybody fucking gives Elite Dangerous so much shit, right? But they fucking did it right. They did the development cycle right. They fucking made a core game, and they're fucking building on it over the years. And that's exactly what they should be fucking doing. That's what CIG should be doing, is make your fucking core game and expand on it so that you have a solid foundation to fucking build from. And instead it's like they're trying to build the entire fucking house all at once from every angle. And it's like, god damn, man. Somebody please tell Chris that it's okay to focus on doing one thing really well and then starting the next thing instead of trying to do all things at once and doing none of them well at all.
Foliage and all that side of things. So.
All right, that was my failure triggered rant.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
Every kind of player wants a tank at some point because
every kind of player wants a tank.
In a game, if you can't make a tank, obviously you need to make a tank at some point. And many players want a tank, but I think many developers wanted a tank as well, so we're really happy and really excited about working on a tank because yeah, this is not like a simple rover or a cyclone or a bike or whatever. This is, well, you've got a big tank, big protection, big guns. So and hopefully we will get big explosions from that as well.
Inspiration-wise, obviously we've, you know...
This section right here, this is why I fucking hate this motherfucker. And he does it with every concept that he fucking talks about. Like, he did it with the Prowler too, right? Like, the fucking Prowler is legit 100% fucking copied, like almost 1 for 1. And then they have this tank that is legit 1 for 1 copied of the PLO-1. And this motherfucker is going to go, inspiration-wise.
We're pulling from the Tumbrel work that we did on the Cyclone and continuing to push on that. I mean, I've said it again, for me it's always the time, you know, it's the timeline.
How are you going to say, inspiration-wise, we're really pulling from Tumbrel? What about Tumbrel are you pulling from? The only other fucking vehicle they have is a fucking buggy, a Jeep. How does this tank translate from the fucking Jeep? Fuck, dude. At least fucking, like, give inspiration credit.
Lines that are tricky, so, you know, there's a...
Absolutely, Christian. Absolutely. Like, that's exactly it. They're pulling from Google image search. Like, don't be a fucking idiot and fucking at least, like, own up to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Like, yeah, we were inspired by the PLO-1. It's a really futuristic looking concept, blah, 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 blah.
Sort of working on that.
The Prowler was like a legit copy of a Final Fantasy dropship.
Real world reference. That's the beauty of the internet, right? In terms of, you know, there's no shortage of information on tanks, APCs, futuristic, old school stuff, and it's just sort of picking what works best for Star Citizen in terms of our influences, and then sort of, okay, well that's cool, but how do we advance that? How do we move it forward? How do we make this tank look like it's not built in 5 years' time? People still want it, you know. Everybody knows what a tank should look like, you know. So it's kind of, you know, you're always treading that line of sort of providing what people want to see in terms of traditional sense. And then I think, you know, if we want to do the wilder stuff.
Ubandis. Yeah, absolutely. Mechs are totally gonna happen. I know, like obviously, like right now, they're like, hey, the Titan suit is coming, and like everybody knows about the Titan suit, but they're gonna make mechs. They're gonna make mechs because mechs will sell. People will buy the shit out of mechs, right? I guarantee you mechs happen. I fucking guarantee you mechs will happen in the future. The Titan power suit is gonna come out, and they're gonna see how fucking incredibly well that sells, right? And then they're gonna go, guys, Chris, if we make like a legit mech and like put a $500 price tag on it, dude, we will make so much money, and it'll happen. I guarantee you it will happen, for sure. Yeah, the Prowler is legit. All they did was shave the nose flat, right? Other than that, the Prowler is like a 1-for-1 copy of that fucking Final Fantasy ship. I can't remember the fucking name of it, but yeah, it's legit fucking copy-paste. Yeah, it was from Spirit Within. I just can't remember the name of the actual ship. Yeah. But yeah, Final Fantasy Spirit Within is where the Prowler came from. Thank you, Loki. I couldn't remember the name of the movie.
situations that has been planned outside, obviously, of falling from space or going into the water or this kind of stuff.
So pretty much now we're at the point where we're wrapping up concept art, which I always really enjoy, and I think, you know, we're sort of really pushing on sort of...
Damn it, Squirt. I was coming to that. So evidently a lot of Star Citizen backers, and I think maybe it's because like a lot of the backers are a lot older than most games are, right? Like, not the games themselves. A lot of Star Citizen backers are older than most game players are. I feel like the Star Citizen age range like starts at like the 25-ish and like goes a lot higher, right? Whereas most games are like 35 and lower. So I think a lot of Star Citizen backers aren't familiar with Planetside, and there's so many parallels in Planetside in terms of bad design choices that Star Citizen's doing all over again. And that's a whole nother video. It's one I keep wanting to make, but I never put the time into actually drafting up. But since we kind of just mentioned mechs a minute ago, if you look at Planetside 1, they came out with a DLC, an expansion, actually. That was back in the day when things were called expansions and not DLC. They came out with an expansion that added legit huge mechs to the game. And I can tell you for a fact, every single person I know who bought the expansion for Planetside 1 bought it with the sole purpose of being able to use those mechs. And so many people were so against mechs being added to Planetside. But Sony Online Entertainment was like, hey guys, if we make mechs, people will buy the shit out of this. And that's exactly what happened. And I guarantee you Star Citizen is going down that path eventually. We're not there yet. The Titan power armor suit is literally the max power suits of Planetside 1 and 2. People will use that because it's going to end up being like the default, you have to have this combat suit for infantry gameplay, and then people are going to buy the shit out of it because of that, right? Because do you want to be the dude in medium armor, or do you want to be the guy in the fucking power armor suit? Come on, we all know how this is going to play out. So they'll sell the shit out of the Titan armor, and there's been a very vocal group of Star Citizen backers who have been for years saying, CIG, please make mechs, like legit mechs. And CIG's gonna go, damn, dude, the Titan sold really well. You know what we should do? We should make a mech. And that'll probably happen. So yeah, if you look at Planetside, that shit's totally gonna happen. Take care with Nail. Thank you for hanging out with us today. There's a couple different ones, Mono. I don't remember them all anymore because I'm kind of like, it just get like, it's such a chore to keep up with everything. But yeah, I think there were one or two other ones that were very much like kind of copy pasted.
It's an exciting addition to Star Citizen, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can see battles waged across the land, the sea, or air. Yeah, I still won't like it, but... Finally, before we let you go, I had one more update for you about a ship we covered last month, the Origin 600i. In the November monthly report, currently available up on the RSI website, we shared an image of the interior cockpit of the ship in gray box phase, and due to the camera positioning way back near the rear of that section, the cockpit struts that have been a part of the model since its original inception and concept reveal appeared much closer to obstructing the forward view of any potential pilot. Those struts can also be found inside the concept holoviewer model when you pivot the camera inside of the ship so that you can approximate...
So this is the part of the video where I do my best to be not biased and actually give them credit. Fucking... Good job, CIG. Good job. This was the fucking best change they have ever made to a ship in the history of fucking Star Citizen. Good job. Good job, CIG. Please. This is like such a fucking step up for you fuckers that I literally, like, I didn't even think it was fucking real. I was like, whoa, what? They actually pulled the struts out? No, not CIG. No. Oh my god, this is why Bitcoin's crashing. Fucking Star Citizen pulled the struts out of a fucking ship. Bitcoin's going down! Like, holy shit. That actually happened. They fucking pulled the struts out of a cockpit view. Like, somewhere right now, Radiant Flux is literally, like, fucking rubbing his shit raw. He's like, I did it. I finally got him to fucking change a cockpit. This was so fucking, like, amazing to me. I was just blown away because CIG has just demonstrated time and time again that they are completely incapable of making a functional cockpit for a pilot's perspective. And the 600i just, oh my god, them reworking that was such a good job. So, if anybody in this chat or anybody who ever sees this in the future works at CIG, please let whoever was in charge of that decision know that they fucking failure stamp of approval. That was such a good change. Oh my god. Just blew me away with that one. Unfortunately, almost every other ship in Star Citizen is a fucking nightmare in terms of the cockpit, but it's nice to see that the 600i is at least one ship that is competing with Elite Dangerous's cockpit view.
Idris owners will want to hold on to this capital ship after seeing just how massive it is. Also, if you don't own an Avenger, now's the perfect time to pick one up. It's available.
Yeah, I agree, Michael. I was really expecting to, like, see a vertical slice of, like, a lot of combat, a lot of, like, gameplay, like actual gameplay, not like walking simulator. And it was essentially just fucking more like, oh, look how pretty our game is. It's still like no depth to it. So I'm kind of bummed. Huh.
$15 with the Super Size Me add-on. The deal is available until January 31st, and after that, the Super Size Me price will increase to $20.
Yeah, that's all for today. So anyway, I wanted to thank the subscribers for supporting all the video content that keeps everyone up to date on the game. Be sure to vote in our subscriber poll.
Oh, me too, Michael. I think a lot of people are kind of sitting back saying, please God, let Cyberpunk be good.
Let's go to a special message from our studios.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Happy holidays!
Was sind für schönes Fest?
Frohe Weihnachten aus Frankfurt!
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays! Woo! Yeah!
So happy holidays, everyone, and until next week, we'll see you
around the verse.
Yeah, absolutely, Edison. I don't blame the artist necessarily. I totally think it's Chris Roberts, right? Like, he wants shit to feel like World War II fighters, and World War II fighters were fucking terrible in terms of cockpit views and all that other bullshit. So yeah, absolutely. Like, I understand that it's Chris. I fully understand that Chris is responsible for so many fucking poor design choices in Star Citizen, Squadron 42, whatever. And, you know, you can look at fucking tons of fucking, what do you call it? subscriber vault shit where they go through like the building of a concept for every, like almost every ship, right? And you can see Chris just being a fucking bastard over it. And it's like, come on, man. Really? He thinks like a Hollywood director, right? Which is hilarious because he's fucking terrible at it. But he's always thinking like, oh, how can I make this look really fucking cool? How can this fucking like this, that, the other thing, like cool. It needs to be cool. And he doesn't ever think of it as like, oh, from a gameplay perspective, like, how does this work? Is this going to be fun? Is this functional? Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. Congratulations, by the way, Michael. I saw that in the YouTube comments the other day. That's crazy that you got it that quick, too. Especially considering like a lot of people have been fighting for quite a while from what I've heard. Man. Oh, I'm sure, Mad Mike. I'm sure. So, seeing as this was the last stream of the year, or the last ATV of the events, and I don't even know, like, I guess it's not a stream, and it's not the last ATV of the year. Is it? No. I don't think so. Seeing as this is the last major Star Citizen related event of the year, that was pre-recorded and not a stream. I mean, like, hands off to them, though, by the way. Clearly pre-recording their major events and announcements is a fucking phenomenal idea if you compare the production quality of this video to what we normally see at, like, Gamescom, CitizenCon, etc., etc. It's a huge step up. Personally, I would much rather them do these pre-recorded things before trying to live stream shit again. If I was, concerned with Star Citizen's image or CIG or whatever, like if I wanted to show a video to my friends about Star Citizen, I would show them this video based on its production quality over something like, Gamescom or whatever, where it's normally a fucking headache from hell. Or just a train wreck, right? So, good on them for doing that, at least, I suppose. I think that they could work on choosing what they want to show, because what they chose to show us of Squadron 42 was really not that inspiring. I was surprised. Like, there's a lot of really hardcore fans who are just going to be like, "Oh, this is amazing! Oh my god, wow!" Regardless of what they show. So like I saw a lot of people in Twitch chat being like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited! Hype! This is everything I dreamed of." And it's like, they're not showing us anything though. They're not telling us anything. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a live stream. I understand that it's not live and whatever, but it was streamed. So let's just call it a live stream. This live stream really didn't show us anything. It really didn't tell us about Squadron 42. It didn't tell us where in production Squadron 42 is. They've essentially been kind of like in silent running mode for fucking, 2 years now, more or less, in terms of Squadron 42 progress, development, and all that. And we really, haven't learned anything. And I think a lot of people were probably expecting this stream to be the one where they catch us up, right? They tell us where things are at, what's going on, all this other shit, and it wasn't. And I was surprised by that, right? Because I was expecting it to be that. And I think everybody that I know of was also expecting it to be that way. They did promise a schedule report for Squadron 42. That is correct, Michael. My issue with that is I don't know how much that really matters, right? If you look at 3.0, right? We had production reports for that for how long, and they were atrocious at really telling where things were at and how it was coming. And just going by the stream, it looks like Squadron 42 has much more than a year before it's in hey guys, you guys can play this, but it's early access, so don't judge it, type deal. So I don't know what the point of giving us a production report now is. Like, at this point, I feel like it would be better just to show us and tell us, like, hey, this is what's going on with the development. This is where it's at. Because if you give us a production schedule, people are going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and interpret this production report with my fucking Excel spreadsheet, and now I have expectations of a release by this day and blah, 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 and all this other shit. Like, I just don't see a point in it, right? Because it's so far out, I feel like they're kind of jumping the gun a little bit by doing a production report. I feel like it would be better. And it gives something for them to actually talk about in ATV, right? Because fucking the burn down shit is... I really feel like ATV's gone downhill since they started dedicating so much of it to burn down. They could be fucking splitting ATV. Okay, here's the Squadron 42 segment of ATV, and here's the Persistent Universe Star Citizen portion of ATV, right? Like, it gives them stuff to talk about and show us in ATV. So, I don't know. Overall, I feel like this holiday stream was kind of a disappointment. It really didn't answer anything that, like, I feel like most people wanted answered. It didn't really show us much. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't just an updated Morrow tour. So, fucking little micro clap for them for that. Because a lot of people were expecting to be Morrow Tour 2.0. So I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Did you walk away from today's stream thinking like, oh, hey, this is where I expected things to be at. This is kosher? Or were you really disappointed? Or not, I don't want to say really disappointed, right? Like, I feel like that's leading. Were you a little disappointed? Were you super disappointed? I agree, Michael. I feel like 2017 has been just a fucking shit year in terms of gaming. It's definitely been disappointing for me. I feel like 2017 was a huge letdown. I agree, Edison. I could have done with a whole lot less of the fluff, right? Like, if they had kind of like cut, like, past all the fucking walking around on the Stanton, him flying around in space, and just jumped into, like, basically when they start at the Reclaimer and the Starfarer wreck, right? And they're like, oh, hey, we're looking for this. Okay, we're going over here. And then just gone into the combat, showing us some quick combat and the fucking FPS stuff or whatever. Like, you know, the quality of it aside. I'm not going to get into that, but, you know, jumped right into the combat, the action stuff, and then spent the rest of the time that they wasted walking around talking about the actual, you know, development, where it's at, stuff like that. I would have been a lot happier, for sure. Loki. Yeah. I don't know. The big fucking hologram of, like, the Admiral, I swear to God, I thought I saw shadows behind that one too. It looked like the lighting in the back room was, like, really dark, right? But I swear, like, it kind of looked like there was some, like, you could see the shadow moving as the hologram moved around. So I don't know. I don't know if they fixed that or not. Yeah, exactly, Mad Mike. Like, Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, Mass Effect Andromeda, Ghost Recon Wildlands. What else am I forgetting? I'm sure there were a lot of other ones, right? I feel like, in general, all the major PC games that I was looking forward to and playing this year were really pretty disappointing, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree, Edison, right? Like, you know, like when the stream starts off, right, and Mark Hamill's character's talking about how, like, oh, you know, something about the last mission or whatever. I really hope, and even then, right, like, just if it's one mission before that or whatever, I really feel like they should work on your character maturing, right? You shouldn't just jump in and be like, I'm the hotshot pilot now, bitch. You should be, like, humbled by Mark Hamill's old man. He should be like, oh, yeah, I'm the real fucking ace here, rookie. You're learning. Fucking, you need to find your place and progress. And over time get better. But instead, it definitely feels like he's essentially just there to talk in the background while you fucking raffle stomp shit. Oh, yep, Assassin's Creed. Yep, that one too. Totally dudes' tattoos. That's exactly how I feel, Lars. I feel like that's what they're doing wrong. That's their misstep, is that they're not focusing on that, right? Like building the foundation, getting the core game fleshed out, and then adding to it with like tanks and land claiming and all the other shit that they want. But again, that kind of falls into the whole Chris Roberts can't fucking help himself conundrum. Yeah, I agree, Mad Mike. I think it's a terrible narrative to do. But unfortunately, if you look at Wing Commander, it kind of already shows exactly... I mean, let's be real. Squadron 42 is essentially Wing Commander, the movie, but in Star Citizen universe. I mean, you look at the plot, I guarantee you it plays out exactly like Wing Commander, the movie. Although, like, it's going to be... oh, hey, at first you're like fighting mercenaries and, you know, pirates and stuff. And then the Vandal is going to come into play and you're like, oh, shit. And your character's going to be like, do, I saved the world. So count on that. Yeah, absolutely, B-Diz. That's exactly how I feel. Like, I'm trying to think of something that came out this year that I'm like, fuck yeah. Holy shit, worth it. And I really, like... ooh, I would really be struggling to think of anything. I really can't. Basically, everything I look forward to was a letdown. And things that I wasn't necessarily... hyped for and looking forward to were still basically, I was like, I don't really care. Like, nothing really, like, sucked me in. Nothing really, like... it was just really disappointing year for me. 2017, I cannot wait for it to end. Everybody was like, oh man, 2016... lots of Hollywood people died, and it was really sad. I'm like, dude, 2017, fucking step over. Like, 2016 can't hold a fucking candle to the misery that 2017 brought me. I'm honestly, Edison, I'm afraid to be hyped for pretty much anything. Like, I'm intentionally not trying to read up on Cyberpunk. I'm intentionally not trying to get interested in Cyberpunk because I just fucking know if I get excited for Cyberpunk, it's going to suck. And I don't think I could survive that. Crystal, I'm probably going to close it up here in a minute or two. Just because I want to make some fucking food. But I'll be back later tonight and we can continue talking about Star Citizen. Or not. I don't know. Whatever. Usually I kind of just hang out and bullshit with whatever people bring up. So, we'll see. But yeah, I'll probably close it up here pretty quick. Yeah, even the movies, like, I'm not going to go into spoilers and stuff, but Star Wars was even really disappointing for me. I think the closest thing I came to, like, enjoying a Star Wars movie in the last, like, 2 years or whatever was Rogue One, really. Force Awakens was, like, it just wasn't there. And it was excusable because I felt like, okay, they're trying to find their footing and trying to find, like, a groove that works. And then Last Jedi comes out and I'm like, what? What the fuck are you people what? Who is fucking writing this shit? I just, like, I can't. I'm like, I am such a Star Wars nerd. Like, such a fucking Star Wars nerd. And the last Jedi was like, oh man, it was like putting Mark Hamill on his knees in front of me, handing me a gun and being like, all right, shoot this guy in the face. And I'm like, I fucking, that's exactly how I feel about Star Wars now. Like, it's literally like shooting fucking Luke Skywalker in the fucking face. That's how I feel. I can't even handle it. Oh God. So yeah, it breaks my heart that, like, not only has 2017 been a fucking terrible year for gaming for me, it's also been the year that, like, my fucking favorite fucking shit ever, Star Wars, is essentially dead to me. I'm like, well, like, I can't even fucking, oh, it was just so fucking heartbreaking. Yeah, absolutely, Trexus. I agree. It's just, oh man. And it sucks. I don't know who to blame. Like, I don't know whether to blame, like, Disney executives who are like, oh, hey, we're more concerned with, like, how much marketing shit we can plug into the movie, or to blame Kathleen Kennedy for her direction. Like, I don't even know anymore, right? Like, it sucks. Like, at least back in the day, people dogged the prequels hardcore or whatever, but, like, George Lucas was doing his best to keep everything consistent and to, like, not fuck it all up. Not intentionally, right? Like, yeah, he fucking leaned way too hard on CGI. And that, you know, fuck. That era of movies, it just kind of fucking was something that was going around way too much in a lot of movies, honestly. But yeah. Alright, guys, so let's recap. Squadron 42, very, very lacking in what we know still. What we do know is that even if you have an $8,000 computer, it's still going to run it fucking, like, optimistically 30 frames per second on a single player game. Lots of walking and talking. A little bit of combat that's going to be janky and frames per second fucked up. Let's see here. Tonks are cool and in now. Mechs will probably be soon after. And Jared Disco Lando is fucking creepy, annoying, and fucking a super worn out gimmick that, honestly, like, I would maybe consider buying a tank if CIG would just get rid of him. CIG, Chris, I will buy a tank if you fire Disco, because he's fucking terrible. In fact, like, I would start a pledge drive and, like, do, like, a 24-hour stream to, like, rally other people who would also buy tanks if you fire Disco Lando, because he's fucking terrible. He's just so fucking over the top. So, just something to think about. Free advertisement, CIG. Like, I will legit, like, fucking charity stream the shit out of getting him fired. like 24 hours nonstop. I'll go 48. I'll go 48 hours straight. If CIG is willing to fire him, I will do a 48-hour straight stream whose sole focus is to fucking get people to buy tanks. If you will fucking fire him. Oh, dude, to get Ben and his mods fired, I would fucking literally inject myself with fucking adrenaline over the course of a week to fucking like get him fired. Holy shit. Absolutely, B-Diz. Feel free, man. Sometimes YouTube is really fucking annoying in terms of like filtering, so I can't promise that you can post a screenshot, but feel free to try, man. If not, you can always drop it in the Discord, and I can pull it up from that. But yeah, I feel like that's my recap for the holiday stream. Yeah, absolutely, Space Owl. Absolutely, man. The CIG mods, the volunteer ones, are fucking human cancer in its purest refined form. I would fucking that alone, right? Like if Chris and Sandy just fucking cleaned house and purged the shit out of fucking people like Maul. Fuck Maul so fucking hard. That guy is such a fucking piece of shit. Honestly, all of them are. All of the fucking volunteer mods over there are absolute trash. They are the worst fucking community interaction fucking mediums I have ever seen in my life. Like, what the fuck? The way they act, the fucking way they moderate, just across the board. The fact that, like, CIG enables and fucking backs these people over their customers is just fucking mind-blowing to me. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I would fucking go hard to fucking see those guys fucking bounced. That would make me so happy. Ugh. All of Ben's crew are fucking terrible. Let's see here. Can I get this to work? Let's see. What kind of frames are you pulling on that? It's just crazy to me. Like, and I've seen so many people with like varied specs, right? And they're all like, it doesn't even seem to be a hardware issue, because I've seen people with computers that are better than mine having the frame rate issues. Nice, 8. Fuck yeah. Fucking solid. 8 frames per second, baby. Trex says, you're in for a treat. Or maybe you'll be one of the lucky few. Who knows? I probably shouldn't be super cocky in saying that you're in for a treat, because you'll be one of the people who gets into fucking 3.0 and manages to have fucking over 30 frames consistently, and then I'll look like a jackass. But if I was going to bet, I would bet you're in for a treat. That's crazy though. Beat is fucking 8 frames per second. But yeah, I've seen people with fucking better rigs than mine. I've seen people with worse rigs than mine. And most people are getting like, the same frames I'm getting. And then I've seen people with rigs that are better than mine and worse than mine. And like here and there you have those people being like, oh yeah, I'm getting 30 plus frames. And I'm like, motherfucker. Why? Hey Nexus, how's it going? You're one of the few people who like my voice. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh man. Yeah, you're in for a treat. Absolutely. Trexus, it's fucking, it sucks that like, because it, like I had a lot of desync issues in 2.6.3, but it was never like frame rate issues. And with 3.0, it is, I don't even know if I have desync issues, right? Because the frame rate issues are so bad that I can't even fucking reliably get into, I can't even reliably get into combat to know if the desync is there, because the fucking frame rate is so bad that I can't hit anything reliably to where I can be like, oh, I'm definitely hitting that. So am I doing damage, or is desync still a problem? So it really sucks. Night, Edison. Have a good one. Yeah, Board Gamer's a fucking liar. Honestly, like I talk shit kind of casually about a lot of Star Citizen content creators, right? But I'm gonna straight up like be real. A lot of these people do not have another job, or it's like their sole fucking, it's their primary income, whatever. And any content creator should know. I mean, like, even on a large scale, right? Unless you're somebody huge, like fucking really big, like, you know, level cap and above, right? Like you're talking like millions of subs. You cannot game hop, right? Like smaller niche fucking content creators cannot fucking go from like their niche game to fucking something else without fucking hemorrhaging fucking viewers and subs and whatever, right? So it would be fucking literally financial suicide for these people to fucking critique CIG and Star Citizen in a fashion that would fucking panic backers and cause backers to move out of that game, because they're literally killing their own fucking viewer base, their own financial base, right? It would be so fucking stupid of them, because I think somebody mentioned it before, what the fuckasaurus or whatever the fuck. He tried to go over to PUBG, right? He tried to be like, oh, I'm a big timer now, so I'm gonna go ahead and bounce Star Citizen, and I'm gonna go to PUBG, and fucking nobody watched his shit, right? Everybody was like, fuck you. I follow you because I want to watch you play Star Citizen. And that's exactly fucking why people like Board Gamer and fucking Noobifier and fucking What the Fuckasaurus and all the other fucking idiots on the Redacted podcast are not going to fucking honestly fucking talk about 3.0 or fucking Squadron 42 or any other aspect of Star Citizen, because it would literally be like cutting your own fucking throat. So anything those guys say, take with a fucking truck of salt, because it would be fucking so stupid of them to fucking damage Cloud Imperium or Star Citizen. It would be so dumb. So fucking stupid. I mean, they would have to be real fucking morons to do that. Yeah, Noobifier's a fucking retard too. I don't like Board Gamer because he's a fucking shill. But Noobifier is an actual cocksucker. Like, that motherfucker is such a just up fucking tight fucking I'm better than everybody fucking dick that, like, I just can't fucking stand him. Like, even before, like, I ever started making videos or, like, whatever. Like, back when I fucking was, like, first getting into start... No, it was after that. But, like, you know, back when I was, like, watching other content creators, Noobifier is just so fucking annoying. And, like, I loved when he, like, tried to, like, plug himself into Renegade Squadron. He was like, oh, yeah, these guys are gonna help improve my content. And Renegade Squadron was like, the fuck did you just say? Who the fuck are you? Like, we don't... Fuck off? Are you kidding? That shit was fucking cute as fuck. But, yeah. Alright, guys. I am going to go ahead and end this one up for now. I might be back a little bit later. We'll see. I'm going to make some dinner first and feed my fat face. And then I guess we'll see from there. So thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for giving me your thoughts and opinions on the stream. It's always interesting to see what other people are feeling. Plus, it helps me have a base to fucking bounce off of and go into an ADD tangent. So, I always appreciate it. Michaels, thank you so much, man. Thank you. You are the shit. And it really makes me happy knowing that, thinking that like that sponsor is part of your refund money. So it's like you're leaving Star Citizen for me. Absolutely, Michael. I always love talking Star Citizen, even if it's fucking something that I don't plan on ever playing again. It's just such a fucking crazy show, right? Like the roller coaster of Star Citizen, that like I don't even mind when people bring it up anymore. I'm like, at first I was like, yeah, I don't even want to talk about Star Citizen. I'm just out. And then this month has just been so fucking crazy that like I can't, like you can't help it. You have to talk about that shit. How do you not talk about it? God damn. So no problem, Michael. I'll always enjoy talking about Star Citizen. I can't like, I mean, how do you quit it? You know? If Star Citizen gets more interesting than this last month has been, I don't even know, like, I feel like my brain will literally explode. Like, it'll just, done. All right, for real, though, I am going to go get food. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for chatting with me. I always appreciate it. And I will see you guys the next time.